Have you ever wondered why the South African education system was structured the way it was during the apartheid era? A thought-provoking question indeed. This is not a simple tale of curriculum choices and school funding. It's a story steeped in decades of systemic oppression, racial segregation, and the relentless pursuit of equality. It's a question that takes us back to a time of divisive laws and policies. To understand this, we need to delve into the history of South Africa's education system. The roots of the South African education system are deeply embedded in the apartheid era. As we delve into the past, we find ourselves in the year 1953, a time when the notorious Bantu Education Act was introduced. This legislation was not a benign educational reform, but rather a calculated strategy to further segregate and limit opportunities for Black South Africans. The man pulling the strings behind this act was none other than Hendrik Verwoerd, often referred to as the architect of apartheid. His vision for the education system was one that served the oppressive regime, a system designed to keep Black South Africans subservient, limiting their access to quality education. The Bantu Education Act was more than just a law. It was a tool used to perpetuate inequality and division. It was a reflection of the apartheid government's agenda, an agenda that prioritized racial segregation over the pursuit of knowledge. This act set the stage for a deeply divided and unequal education system. In response to the oppressive system, Black South Africans, led by figures like Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu, began to fight for their right to quality education. A turning point came with the Soweto Uprising of 1976. Thousands of Black students took to the streets, protesting against the inferior Bantu education system. This wasn't just a demonstration, it was a powerful statement against a system that sought to limit their potential. The courage of these students ignited a spark that spread across the nation. Their determination and resilience led to the emergence of student movements that played a critical role in challenging the status quo. They refused to be silent, they demanded change, and they fought for their right to an education that would allow them to realize their full potential. The fight for educational equality became a focal point in the struggle against apartheid. A struggle that was about more than just education, it was a fight for dignity, respect, and freedom. With the end of apartheid in 1994, the newly elected government, led by President Nelson Mandela, faced the daunting task of overhauling the education system. The goal was clear: to uproot the deeply ingrained inequalities and create an education system that promoted equality and opportunity for all. The government introduced policies to redress past injustices, such as the South African Schools Act of 1996, which aimed to provide equitable access to quality education. But the journey to reform was far from smooth. The legacy of apartheid had left deep scars, and the education system was not immune from these. Schools in historically disadvantaged areas faced a lack of resources, overcrowding, and underqualified teachers. Even today, these challenges persist, and the struggle for a truly equal education system continues. Despite the hurdles, the spirit of resilience and determination thrives, pushing South Africa towards a future where every child, irrespective of their background, has access to quality education. While significant strides have been made in transforming the education system, the legacy of apartheid continues to pose challenges. So where does South Africa stand now in terms of education? The current landscape is a mixed bag. There are significant strides towards equality, with classrooms more diverse than ever, but the scars of the past still linger, with the quality of education varying drastically. There's a pressing need to bridge this gap, to ensure that every child, be it Lerato or Peter, has access to quality education. As we reflect on the evolution of the South African education system, it becomes clear that education is not just a tool for personal development, but a powerful weapon in the fight for equality and social justice.